Hey everyone, today I've got another new video for Cardfight Vanguard Overdress. Today we're going to be doing profiles on Phantom Blaster Dragon and, of course, Dragonic Overlord. Now, Phantom Blaster Dragon, he is a new deck. However, Overlord this is going to be the second video on him. My first video on him for his Overdress version was actually the last video I did back at my old location, so I originally didn't, I was probably going to do Phantom Blaster Dragon regardless, but I also kind of want to waited for him to get his new stuff in set 5 along with Overlord, but why not? I'll do videos on them as they are right now. And we'll start off with Phantom Blaster. Why not? Alright. So there we go. There's Phantom Blaster Dragon. Of course, start off with the ride line. We've got the starter full bow. There we go. He's, of course, like any other starter. If you go second, you get to draw. You've got Blaster Javelin. If Blaster Dark is put on top of him, I can reveal the top card of my deck, call it as a rested unit. And if that is not a unit card, then it is sent to... you discard it instead. But all of the cards in here are unit cards, so there's almost nothing to worry about. So that's Javelin, and his other ability. During your turn, if you have a Vanguard with Blaster in its card name, this gets an extra 2k power. That can sometimes come into play if you end up calling him to the rearguard circle with one of Phantom Blaster Dragon's effects, so I figured I might as well cover it. Of course, next up is Blaster Dark himself, the de facto leader of the Shadow Paladins when Phantom Blaster Dragon is not around. When this unit is placed on Vanguard or rearguard circle, counterblast one and then retire another rearguard unit. That's what Blaster Javelin's effect is for. Choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it, and then this gets drive +1, so he becomes a grade 2 with triple drive, which is very neat. That's actually a carryover from his V-Series version of the card, which I like. At least it's not like a version of the original Blaster Dark. The original was kind of bad. Although the Revenger versions weren't that bad either. But the V-Series Blaster Dark was probably the best version we've had. And in my opinion, still probably is, although this one isn't that bad either. And then his other ability, rearguard ability, if your rearguard was retired this turn, you get an extra 5k. Very nice. And he can fulfill that himself because his first ability is on Vanguard or rear, so it's pretty nice that his second ability is a self-fulfilling one. And of course, we've got the big boss himself, Phantom Blaster Dragon. When this is placed on Vanguard, choose a card with Blaster in this card's soul. You may call it to a rearguard. So, you can call Blaster Javelin if you need more grade 1s, or you can call Blaster Dark if you need a grade 2. And of course, if you're Persona riding, you can also call another copy of Phantom Blaster Dragon if you want. You can use it for some of your retiring skills and whatnot, as it's pretty much just a vanilla if it's on the rear guard, so yeah. Then its other ability, this is a once per turn one. Counterblast 1, retire 3 of your rear guards, choose up to 2 of your opponent's rear guards and retire them. And then this unit gets an extra 10k power and a critical. That is Phantom Blaster Dragon's famous, or infamous, Damned Charging Lance ability. Again, the V-Series one was infinitely better. His ability lets you retire 3 to get rid of your opponent's entire board and get the 10k in critical. So this is kind of a watered down version of that, which isn't bad. It's good for the Overdress series environment. However, if you're playing, or if you plan to use a Phantom Blaster Dragon in any other format, I'd say the V Series 1 is infinitely better than this. And that's the ride line. Of course, the actual deck itself. We've got 3 more copies of Phantom Blaster Dragon. 3 more copies of Blaster Dark. We've got 4 copies of this, Darkness Maiden Matcha, when it is placed on a rearguard circle. If you have a Vanguard with Blaster in its card's name, which you will, this unit gets plus 5k until the end of turn. Nice. And then you Soul Blast 1 and retire another rearguard. Look at the 5 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 1 or less card from among them, and you call it. And then, of course, you shuffle. This lets you get all your various toolbox grade 1s in this deck, which there's a lot of. As you've seen, the only grade 3 I'm playing is Phantom Blaster Dragon himself. The rest are the necessary grade 2s and a lot of grade 1s. Of course, another one of those grade 2s is Unnatural Knight Delbath. During your turn, if 2 or more rearguards were retired this turn for the cost of a card effect with Blaster in its card name. Yikes. This guy gets an extra 10k power. Very nice. It's kind of weird. I don't see that many people running this guy. I don't know why. He's pretty good. That's him. We've probably got one of the best support cards Phantom Blaster got in set 4. This is Armor Piercing Knight Mugain, when it is placed on rearguard circle from hand. So unfortunately you can't get that effect off of her ability, so that's unfortunate, but hey, that's fine. If you have a Vanguard with Blaster in its card name, again, which you will, you discard a card from your hand, look at 2 cards from the top of your deck, and you call them. And when you call them, they're as rest, and then you will never discard any. I don't know why they have that in the effect. You will always call 2, no matter what they are, even if they're triggers. And since they're being rested, you're going to use them for Phantom Blaster Dragon's effect anyway. So I have no idea why they have that in there. I guess that's there just in case you're running, what is it? Order cards, but there's none in this deck, so you typically don't want to run any with Phantom Blaster. So, again, that's a big mystery to me. Might of Heavenly Piercing Isolta? Yeah, that's it, Isolta. This is another grade 1. When this card is placed on rearguard circle or is discarded for a card effect, choose up to 1 of your back row rearguards and you stand it. So, of course, as you've noticed, a lot of units call things at rest, such as Blaster Javelin. Matcha doesn't. It's, the card we just went over, Mugain. So you can discard her or call her off of Mugain's effect, and you get to stand 1 of the cards that you placed, which is very cool, in case you actually want to use that unit. Which is typically the case if you somehow get a grade 2 off of Mugain's effect. And next up, we've probably got one of the best cards in this deck. We've got Witch of Pandering Bruner. If you have a Vanguard with Blaster in its card name, when this unit would be retired for its effect, it may be regarded as 2 cards. So, the main one you obviously want to use this with is Phantom Blaster Dragon, as he requires 3. If you use Bruner and any other card, you've essentially negated 1 of the costs, which is nice. And that's it for Bruner. course, next up, we've got what's in every deck. We've got the 4 Keter Sanctuary Perfect Guards. We've got 3 of the non-effect crits. 4 of the effect crits. These are also not that bad to get off of Mugen or Matcha, as you can also... Oh yeah, you can also use, Alista to stand this unit. Sure, it's only a 4K, but you also get to put it into your soul. And there are some cards in this deck, mainly Matcha, that uses soul. So that's nice. Yeah, it's pretty much just Matcha that uses soul. But hey, it's not bad. And I think they will help when Phantom Blaster Overlord comes along. We've got the heal trigger, of course. This, surprisingly, even though it's not, again, a grade 4 deck, I do use the draws in it as well. Because of the very nature of this deck, you're getting rid of your own stuff. So, of course, you'll want to use the draw triggers to replenish them. For them, of course, the final card is the Keter Sanctuary Overtrigger. That's it for Phantom Blaster Overlord, or not Overlord, just regular Phantom Blaster Dragon. Now it's time for Dragonic Overlord. So this one, slight changes from the original. Let's see. We've got, of course, Lizard Runner Undo. Bar, if it is ruled upon by Nahalem, you counterblast 1, search your deck for a grade 1 card, and put it into your hand, and then, of course, you shuffle. That effect is there to kind of mirror Lizard Soldier Conroe's effect, which is nice, because Conroe let you search a grade 1. Typically, people would search for the perfect card, like this. But you can also search for really any other grade 1 you might necessarily need. Of course, next up we've got Nahalem. When it is ruled upon by a card with Overlord in its card name. That will also come into play when we get Dragonic Overlord at the end. So you might swap out this Dragonic Overlord in the ride deck for the end, which is going to be an interesting thing. But anyway, you then call this guy to a rearguard, and then his rearguard ability, if you have a Vanguard with Overlord in its card name, you Soul Blast 1, and this unit and all of your Vanguards get extra 5k until the end of the turn. Nice. Of course, Overlord himself. Vanguard or rearguard ability. During the battle that this unit attacked a rearguard, your opponent cannot call a unit from their hand to Guardian. That's nice. And then that'll let you activate this ability. When your Vanguard unit's attack hits, counterblast 1 and discard a card from your hand. You stand this guy, and then you get drive -1 until the end of the turn. That's nice. The classic Overlord ability. And of course, 3 more copies of Dragonic Overlord. Then probably a familiar face if you saw my first Buff Sagara deck. You've got Volcanic Gun Dragon. Figured this guy also kind of works in this deck as well, as you want to get rid of your opponent's front row units. And if you remember his effect, if your opponent has no front row rear guards, this guy gets an extra 5k power. Not bad. I honestly like this card. I wish it could be more usable. Of course, we got more copies of Nahalem. 3 more copies. We went over that. Of course, we've got another of Overlord's original companions, Berserk Dragon. When this unit attacks, if your Vanguard has Overlord in its card name, this unit gets 5k power until the end of that turn. Or until the end of that battle, I'm sorry. Then you counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or less rear guards, and you retire it. Again, more ways to get rid of your opponent's front row units. And then another card we've got. This is another new one for the deck. Stun Volcanic Dragon. If your Vanguard's attack hits, this gets an extra 10k power. And of course, if your Overlord is attacking a rear guard, it will hit, as your opponent can't guard that attack. So he will get that 10k power boost. We've got more copies of Bar. I guess I'll go over his rearguard ability. It's once per turn. When your Vanguard's attack hits, this unit gets 5k power until the end of the turn. Nice. We've got more. Well, we've got this card, Dragon Monk Gojo. We've got it at 4. When the Vanguard attack, this unit boosted hits, you retire him and then you countercharge 1. Nice. Stealth Dragon Fushimachi Madoka. This is another one from my original Buff Sagara list. If your opponent's drop has 4 or more cards, this gets an extra 2k power and 5k shield. And then if it has 8 or more, it gets another 5k shield. Very nice. Of course, as I say every other time, we've got the 4 perfect guards. The 3 non-effect crits. 4 of the effect crits. This time, as you'll actually be kind of drawing more as your Vanguard restands, we've got the front triggers instead, the effect front triggers. And then, of course, we've got the 4 heals. And probably one of the pride and joys of my Vanguard cards, my SP Dragon Empire Overtrigger. Dang, that thing is awesome. And that's it for Overlord and Phantom Blaster Dragon. These, of course, were the encounter decks from set 2. They've been periodically getting support in set 3 and 4. Although, of course, not the main support. But you can still make some fairly competent decks for them. Phantom Blaster Dragon actually got top 8 in Toronto, quite near where I am, in the Springfest there, which is nice. I would have liked to go if I knew it was that weekend, and although they were doing all this stuff there anyway that I wasn't exactly cool with. So, either way, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed going anyway. But, yeah, I think that's it for this video. And then, well, when set 5 comes out, we'll probably get another video with these two. So, I hope you enjoyed this one.